And happy Victory Monday. Once again, the Buffalo Bills get it done. And this has to be the best Victory Monday of the season because they knock off the Kansas City Chiefs by a final score of 30-21. And there is so much to break down. That was just such an amazing game. The vibes were immaculate. And as I said, the Bills become the first team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs as they fall to 9-1. The Bills go to 9-2. They improve their chances of clinching the division, of getting maybe the 1 seed, but at least the 2 seed. And, I said throughout the whole week and leading up to this game, I said, we can't get too high if we win. We can't get too low if we lose, because the main thing is you have to beat them in January. Now the Bills have beaten the Chiefs the last 4 times in the regular season, but they've come up short the last 3 matchups in the postseason. But after a game like that, it is so hard to stay even keeled because Josh Allen just completely took over and put that team and city on his back. So I think we need to start right here because I think we need to take a step back and realize and appreciate what we are witnessing right now. So I tweeted this morning and I said, the fact that the Bills lost their all-pro wide receiver, all-pro cornerback, the best safety duo in franchise history, their starting center, and their starting wide receiver too, and somehow got better, that is absolutely wild to me. Like, this was supposed to be their rebuild season. They have over $70 million in dead cap. You think about all that dead cap that they took on from getting rid of Stephon Diggs. But yet through 11 weeks, this is the best start to any season in my lifetime. Because now that the Bills are 9-2, that is their best start since 1992. So as I said in the tweet, I think we need to take a minute to appreciate the jobs that GM Brandon Beane, head coach Sean McDermott, and quarterback Josh Allen have done, because what those 3 have been able to do in terms of establishing the culture and the stability here, it's almost unprecedented. And I know the Bills need to be able to win in January when it matters most, but the fact that they give themselves so many opportunities year after year, week after week here, it's pretty special. Now, someone else who is very special in his own right is Josh Allen, because I cannot stop watching that run, as I'm sure a lot of you can't either, because as I said, the way he was able to just put the cape on 4th and 2, not only does he get the first down, he's like, no, I'm sniffing out that end zone and no one is going to stop me. And that is why we love him so much, because what other quarterback does that? And it's so cool because when I'm seeing all these big posts from ESPN or Bleacher Report or the NFL, he doesn't have any haters. Everyone is just like, wow, that's an amazing run. Like, there is no Josh Allen slander. And I think everyone has realized that he is legit, if not the best quarterback, he's at least top 2 right now. And he's solidifying his chances of winning his first MVP finally, because that run and that game yesterday shows how valuable he is to this team. This isn't the best player. It's the most valuable player. And Josh Allen is just so valuable to this Bills team. And he has them in such a great position once again. And something else that I tweeted from walking out from the game, I mean, look at this. This is crazy too. The Bills beat Kansas City without Matt Milano, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, Spencer Brown, Dwan Smoot, and Dwayne Carter. Now, I know the Chiefs had their own injuries as well, but if the Bills can beat the Chiefs without these players, then there's no reason why they can't beat them in the postseason as long as they don't beat themselves. Like, sure, give Kansas City credit, give Cincinnati credit for beating the Bills in the postseason, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of it has been because the Bills just continuously beat themselves. So if they're clicking on all cylinders, this is a very, very dangerous team. And again, it is just so crazy that this is probably the best team so far through 11 weeks. But this has been the best start so far in my lifetime. So let's take a look at some of the play-by-plays here. We'll take a look at the box score, and then we will look ahead to what's to come, because now the Bills can enjoy their bye week here. They can enjoy Thanksgiving, but we're going to hit the ground running as we come back out of the bye, because the Bills host San Francisco on December 1st for Sunday Night Football. So the Chiefs get the ball to start, and they run 2 plays, and that's when Taylor Rapp intercepts Patrick Mahomes as Mahomes throws his 10th interception of the season. The Bills get the ball. They run 8 plays, go 65 yards, and that's when James Cook punches it in the back of the end zone. Buffalo goes up 6-0. Tyler Bass did miss the extra point. I thought it would come back to be costly, but luckily it didn't. Both teams exchange a couple of punts. Then the Chiefs go down. They run 11 plays, go 88 yards over 5 minutes of clock. And that's when Patrick Mahomes finds Xavier Worthy for a 10-yard touchdown. The Bills come right back, 9 plays, 70-yard drive of their own, almost 5 minutes of clock. James Cook finds the back of the end zone for the second time of the day. Now, he only had 9 rushes for 20 yards, but he did have those 2 big touchdowns. And we should note that the Chiefs had the number 3 rushing defense going into yesterday's game. So yards were going to be far and few between. I believe they were giving up just 83 yards on the ground prior to yesterday's game. So credit to James Cook. He now has 10 rushing touchdowns, and that is definitely a career high for him. So the score is 13-7 Buffalo, and the Chiefs have to punt once again. 3rd and 10. Von Miller comes up with the big sack, his 4th of the season. Now the Bills come back the other way, and this is where I probably would have settled for the field goal. There are certain times like that 4th and 2 where I'd like Sean McDermott being aggressive and going for it. But if it's, 4th and 3 for a 51-yard field goal, that's when I probably would have taken the points to go up by 2 scores. But ultimately, they didn't. That was Allen's probably one mistake of the day. And then the Chiefs go down. They score a touchdown. Bills go back. They get a field goal to go into the half, 16-14. Now, I mentioned before how the Bills have been a very good third quarter team. After that Dolphins game, they had a plus 56 point differential, but they've been held scoreless the last 2 weeks in the third quarter, last week in Indy and now yesterday against Kansas City. So both teams punted 2 times in the third quarter, and then the Bills just kind of drained out that clock, 10 plays, 83 yards, over 6 minutes of clock, and then they did score that touchdown in the fourth quarter. Curtis Samuel, finally, the Curtis Samuel breakout game. That's the game that we've been waiting for. He puts the Bills up 23-14. The Chiefs come back, and you're thinking, oh, man, here we go. They go on a 10-play drive, 70 yards, almost 5 minutes of clock, 23-21 Buffalo. And that was Noah Gray, who had a very solid game yesterday. But then the Bills come right back, 12 plays, 70 yards, 5 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock. And that's when Josh Allen just completely took over. I love the aggressive call from McDermott. And I'll get to that in a second because I just wanted to say Terrell Bernard picks off Patrick Mahomes for now his 11th interception of the season. And it was pandemonium in Buffalo. It was party time, baby. And that's how the score ended, 30-21. But yeah, I want to go back to that because as much as I've been talking about Josh Allen and as much as we've been talking about Josh Allen, we need to give Sean McDermott his credit because years ago, he probably would have settled for the field goal to go up 26-21 and said, you know what, let's just play conservative. I'm going to trust my defense that they're going to have to go score a touchdown on us. And this way they don't have to get a field goal, right? Now he's learned his lesson that field goals are not going to beat Kansas City. Josh Allen is. So huge credit to McDermott for saying, you know what, I'm going to trust my franchise quarterback to go get the job done. And not only did he get that first down, he put the Bills up by 2 scores, which essentially ended the game right there. And again, credit to Terrell Bernard, just played a phenomenal game from that middle linebacker position. And everyone just did their part yesterday. So that being said, let's take a look at the box scores. We'll start with Kansas City because the main stat that I took away from this game was that DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce were held to 5 catches for 37 yards. Patrick Mahomes ended his day with 23 of 33 passing for 196 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But ultimately, that was a defensive masterpiece once again from Sean McDermott and Bobby Babbage. Everyone did their job, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. And I did mention Noah Gray. He did have two receiving touchdowns, 4 catches, 23 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he did pick up the slack a little bit in place of Travis Kelce. But again, the fact that Kelce and Hopkins were held to 37 yards, great job by the Bills defense. Now, Josh Allen, 27 of 40, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had 12 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown to lead the Bills. As I mentioned, James Cook had 9 for 20 and 2 touchdowns. Ty Johnson, I love Ty Johnson as an RB3. He had some big runs, a couple of big catches, 5 carries for 18 yards. And then looking at the Bills receivers here, Khalil Shakir, 8 catches for 70 yards to lead them. Curtis Samuel, 5 for 58 and a touchdown. Amari Cooper with 2 catches for 55 yards, and those were 2 huge catches in the first half. Dawson Knox, who does very well against Kansas City. His stats going into the game against Kansas City, 10 career targets, 9 receptions, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he didn't light them up by any means, but again, 4 for 40, an average of 10 yards per reception. That is very solid as he was filling in for Dalton Kincaid. Mac Hollins had 2 grabs for 27 yards. James Cook had 5 receptions for just 7 yards. Zach Davidson with his first catch for 5 yards. But overall, I mean, a complete team victory here. The Bills outscored the Chiefs 14-7 in the fourth quarter when it mattered most. And that being said, I will tie it in with how I started. Now the Bills have to get it done once again when it matters most in January. So that being said, the Bills go into the bye with a very comfortable lead in the AFC East. They now have a 99% chance of not only making the postseason, but also winning the division. The Jets lost again. I love it. The Dolphins did win, so they are hanging on by a thread. But, I mean, the Bills control their own destiny here. Now we get ready for the 49ers as they will come to town in another great matchup on December 1st. And then the Bills have the Rams, the Lions, and then 3 divisional opponents. So, I mean, it is going to be a tough stretch, but now I believe they have over a 70% chance of either earning the 1 seed or the 2 seed. So the Bills did everything they had to yesterday. I don't believe there are any major injuries to speak of. We'll find out when Sean McDermott speaks today, but they have the bye week to rest up and heal up and enjoy this as the Bills start 9-2 for the first time since '92.